Hello, welcome to Government. This is Unit 8, Part 1B. We're looking at civil liberties. Today we're going to talk about incorporation doctrine. All right? Incorporation doctrine is an idea that goes through the Supreme Court. All right? And it's the idea that the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment requires state and local governments to guarantee the rights stated in the Bill of Rights. All right? So before this idea came along, there was some doubt and argument whether the Bill of Rights applied to the states or only to the federal government as far as protecting our rights. Right. In 1833, Barron v. Baltimore, a Supreme Court decision, the Supreme Court ruled that the Bill of Rights only limited the actions of the national government, not the states. All right, so pretty early in our republic, Barron v. Baltimore was decided. You remember we talked about that when that was the docking business that was ruined by Baltimore, and he sued and he didn't win, right? For eminent domain. They couldn't take his land without just compensation. Well, 1868 is when the 14th Amendment was added, and in it, the way it was written, whether it was intended that way or not, Section 1 suggests that some or all protections of the Bill of Rights might apply to the states. That's 1868. However, it's 1897 before the Supreme Court comes up with the idea and makes rulings that holds the states to what they call a substantive due process standard. All right? Notice those words, due process. And at that point, they had the legal burden to prove that their laws constituted a valid exercise of power to regulate health, welfare, or public morals of citizens. All right? So that's what laws have to be based on, all right, if they're going to infringe on the Bill of Rights in any way. All right? It has to be valid exercise of power. And that's what the Supreme Court has said since 1897. 1925, Getlow versus New York. Right? Getlow, he had printed a manifesto urging workers to overthrow the U.S. government. New York law was broken by doing this, so he was arrested, put on trial, and found guilty. All right? He appeals, it goes to the Supreme Court, and the conviction was upheld. All right? So they did say, yes, you could limit freedom of speech that way. But in the ruling, they said the states were not completely free to limit forms of political expression. There's a little political cartoon. I advocate overthrowing your government. Then my First Amendment will not protect you.